Hey everyone, don't mind me, I'm just covered in paint. I've been painting for the last few hours. For those of you that don't know, about a couple months ago I started a health challenge where I decided to quit smoking cigarettes. Now it's been about 2 months now. In the last 2 months I smoked a grand total of 3. So I did have a couple, but I'm proud of that. Instead of having 2 to 3 a day or even more, I've had 2 or 3 in the last 2 months. Not too bad. I'm pretty proud of that accomplishment. Today, I am starting a new health challenge. Now, this one is more about nutrition and eating better and eating a lot cleaner. Now, I do tend to eat fruits and vegetables every single day. I've been getting into the habit of drinking green smoothies every single day. And so I do eat healthy, but at the same time, I also eat a lot of junk food on top of that. I'll eat a lot of meat, heavier meat, and I'll eat a lot of chocolate, donuts, sugar. I usually drink a few beers on a Saturday or a Friday or a Saturday. So I still have a lot of toxins and junk food and a lot of sugar and glucose and stuff like that going through my body. I am a painter now, if you were wondering. That is my job, my current job. So I do get to move around all day too, so I get enough exercise during the day, and I exercise on top of that. However, I want to take it a little bit more extreme and do more of a detox my body, energize my body. There's a music festival at the end of this month. It would be nice to tighten up the old belly a little bit and get a little bit fitter. So that is why I'm doing this goal. It's a detox, get rid of toxins, feel better, gain a lot of energy. But the main reason I'm doing this is I get to really learn a lot about myself. What I mean by this is that everybody has self-deception patterns, meaning that there's voices in your mind, patterns coming up in my mind telling me to not stick with eating very clean and eating junk food, like, just this one time, how about you start tomorrow? We'll start today and then we'll start the diet tomorrow. Or maybe it will be, I didn't eat breakfast today. You gotta eat something, man, or you're gonna die. You need sugar somehow. You know what I'm talking about when you make a decision, but all of these voices come up. I'm sure anyone who's smoked and tried to quit or tried to go on a diet, these excuses, these voices come up automatically. And if you kind of half-ass set a goal and say, hey, I'm going to eat better, and that's your goal, that's like all the most specific you get, later that day you'll have a donut and you'll have that excuse, and it will seem perfectly normal, as if you're making that decision and you're like, oh, that makes sense. I'm going to eat a donut because I deserve it, because I don't know, I worked hard. Like a lot of times I'd get work done and say, hey, since I did work, I should eat junk food and reward myself. Or one time I was trying to eat better and I said, I want to eat better this week. And I was working the late shift that day, and when I was sitting there, I did have a craving for a bag of chips. As soon as I had that craving, I said, I'm going to go get a bag of chips because I'm working the late shift, so I deserve it. And as soon as I said that to myself, I hopped up, walked over to the vending machine, got a bag of chips, walked over to my desk, and opened up the bag of chips. And then I realized to myself that rationality, that excuse, makes no logical sense at all. And I'm sure it's happening in my own head very subconsciously all of the time. So if I set a hard goal of doing one thing and I have all of these excuses coming up in my head, I'm going to be easier able to observe my own self-deception patterns, which won't only come up when I'm eating junk food. My self-deception patterns might show up in relationships, or they might show up when I'm trying to set a goal or a work goal or exercise. I'll be a stronger person. I'll know how to get around those self-deception patterns. Self-deception patterns are always going to come up. It's part of human psychology. It happens to everyone, but a lot of the times these responses are subconscious, or they'll come up automatically and you won't really be paying attention to them, but they're still driving your behavior and what you do. So being aware of those patterns, I feel, is very important, at least to me, and that's one reason I want to do this health challenge. Now, the details of this challenge are, I've been drinking green smoothies a lot. I've been doing that every day anyway, but I'm going to be cutting out toxic or junk food completely, at least until I go to the music festival, Folly Fest, at the end of this month. I do plan on having a few beer and chilling out when I'm at that music festival, but until then, I'm going to cut out booze completely. I'm going to cut out any sugary junk food whatsoever. So this is what I'm going to allow myself to have: fruits, vegetables. I'm going to cut out meat, heavy meat, but for protein I am going to allow myself eggs. So I'm going to keep it light. I'm going to have light protein. So fruits, vegetables, eggs. Also, I'm going to allow myself to eat some nuts and seeds for protein as well. I'm allowing myself water, of course. I'm going to drink plenty of water. One thing I am going to keep and allow myself to have that is a little bit of acidic is coffee. I do enjoy my daily coffee, and I'm going to allow myself to continue having my daily coffee. I just enjoy it. Anyway, back to the smoking. One reason that I was able to successfully get through that was social pressure. I held myself accountable by uploading a YouTube, setting out my intention, just like I am doing for this contest, because I definitely have tried stuff like this, detox, or more clean diets, and haven't been able to stick to it. At the same time, I've also tried to cut down or quit smoking before I wasn't able to do it. But as soon as I made myself accountable, used social pressure, and uploaded the video to Facebook, I didn't want to let people down, so that extra pressure was positive and helped me get through that. I noticed one of the hardest parts of quitting smoking was when I was deep in conversation with one of my friends and he pulled out a cigarette. So basically I was in rapport, I was in a similar emotional mindset, and I feel that when you are in a similar emotional mindset, you are in rapport with another person, you want to stay in rapport with that person. So when they pull out a cigarette, you want to continue that social bond, continue that rapport, that emotional state. So having that huge urge to have a cigarette at that time. I found that when other people were smoking in the room and I was in my own head thinking about my own thing, the cravings weren't as strong. But if I was having a deep conversation with somebody and they pulled out a cigarette, that there's that emotional need for that connection, to stay in rapport with that person. So that need comes up for me, and that need probably comes up for the other person as well. They probably have an urge for you to be in rapport and have a cigarette as well. And that's why I feel that a lot of the times when people are smoking cigarettes and they want to smoke and their friend doesn't have a cigarette and they know that they smoke, they're likely to offer the cigarette to them. That's just a hypothesis that I'm guessing. I don't know 100% sure about that. But anyway, I'm using that same social pressure to concrete my goals, make myself more accountable, and have that extra pressure in order to reach my goals. Because now I have that intention outside of my head. People know about it. When I'm trapped in my own head, I'm like really fighting against myself. Like if I have those excuses come up, sometimes those excuses, those extra voices are louder than your rational voices. Your emotional voices, your emotional centers in your mind are stronger than your logical ones that say, hey, I should eat healthier, rather than when you're having a craving, your thoughts are going to be a lot stronger towards eating that food. So having my thoughts outside of myself and having other people know about my intentions will help a lot. Anyway, I'll let you know how I'm doing. This will help a lot. I appreciate all of your support. If you would like to leave some support in a comment, that would be appreciated as well. Anyway, yeah, wish me luck. Peace. My burrito video.